I haven't really talked about equipment in this series so far. That's about to change. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Brian from Airflow Music. Alongside publishing our books for brass players, we're releasing a bunch of videos with tips to make brass playing easier for you. So if you're new here, please subscribe to the Airflow Music channel so that you're notified of all of our videos. This video is part of the Trumpet A-Z series. One of the questions I'm asked most often is, what mouthpiece is that? It's a question that most of us brass players have asked somebody at some stage. I'm here to share the top 3 things that you need to know when you're choosing yours. M is for mouthpiece. When playing a brass instrument, we all need a mouthpiece. It's the interface between us and the rest of the instrument, so it's important that we choose wisely and strike the right balance between feeling good and sounding good when we play. There are so many options these days, and the various places we commune with other brass players online are constantly bombarded with questions about which is best. I'm not remotely going to attempt to answer that, but I am going to share 3 really important things you should consider when choosing a mouthpiece. Firstly, let's talk about mouthpiece sizes. There are 5 basic components to a mouthpiece design: the rim shape, the cup diameter, the cup shape, the throat size, and the backbore shape. The ones we tend to focus on most are the cup shape and the cup diameter. The diameter makes sense because it's arguably the most important factor in having the mouthpiece feeling comfortable and working well for you. As I said, one of the questions I'm asked most often is, what mouthpiece do I play? That's something I'm happy to answer, but it's more important to remember that since we're different people with different physical makeups, what works well for me may not work for you at all. All of my mouthpieces happen to be on the small side diameter-wise. So, for example, if your lips are much bigger than mine, then you may not even be able to make a sound on any of my mouthpieces. Let's say, for the sake of making a ludicrous analogy, that I decide I want to become an Olympic sprinter. Let's say I'm able to talk to Usain Bolt to ask for tips on running faster. I'm not going to ask him what size shoes he wears. I intrinsically understand that our feet are likely to be different sizes, so that's an irrelevant question. Better questions might be, why do you like these shoes? Or which parts of that shoe design do you find beneficial? In other words, getting back to mouthpieces, find something that fits comfortably for you, and then consider the other design elements if you need to tweak how it plays in some way. That brings me to my second point. Shallow cups don't make it easier to play high notes. The shape and depth of a mouthpiece cup determines which frequencies in your sound will focus better. So while a shallower cup will brighten the sound by bringing the higher frequencies better into focus, it doesn't actually make it easier to play higher notes. However, it may make your sound more appropriate for a particular style of playing. More often than not, if we're seeking to improve our upper register, we try going to a shallower cup, but in a rim shape and size that's very similar to what we play already. What we then usually find is that we bottom out in it sooner or later. What we actually need to do to be successful with it is adjust our physical approach, to take better account of the other design characteristics that usually come along with a shallower cup and a mouthpiece. For instance, in many shallower mouthpieces, the throat and the backbore may be tighter. Those are factors which also tend to brighten the sound and speed up the airflow, which will make the upper register more secure. Therefore, we need to blow a smaller quantity of air to balance with them. Otherwise, we add mouthpiece pressure and bottom out. A mouthpiece change that often will make it easier to play higher is switching to a slightly smaller cup diameter. If you want to play lead trumpet, then this mouthpiece may also be on the shallower side. Or, if you play more orchestral music, for example, it may still be deeper with a broader sound palette in the low register. Either way, we arrive at point 3. Use the right tool for the job. Overall, what we need to use is a mouthpiece or collection of mouthpieces that strike the right balance of making it easier to play while also sounding good doing it. Personally, I have 4 trumpet mouthpieces I use day to day in order to be versatile enough to play in the various musical situations I'm called to play in, and to stay comfortable doing it. Generally, they're all on the narrow side, as I said. My big mouthpiece is a modern Bach 10.5C. I have a couple more which get gradually shallower and have different characteristics, while still maintaining a similar diameter and rim shape, and then a noticeably shallower and tighter lead trumpet piece, for when I have to pound out high notes all day long. I have friends and colleagues who work with one mouthpiece for everything. Some have 2, some use many more than I do. All of my mouthpieces have different roles, from a broader, darker, more orchestral sound, through a darker jazz sound, to a commercial lead sound, and then the brightest high note piece. Now, as I mentioned earlier, all of them are on the narrower side compared to average. I do see many students here at the studio who are playing mouthpieces which are too wide for them. My advice when selecting a mouthpiece or mouthpieces is to use the smallest diameter that you can, which feels comfortable and will allow you to get the job done, with an appropriate sound for whatever style of music it is that you're playing. Here's a short series of comparison clips that should allow you to hear the difference between my mouthpieces. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please hit that like button, subscribe to the Airflow Music channel and share it with your friends on Facebook or Twitter. If you have any questions or other feedback about this video, please comment below. And if you'd like to support us in making more videos like this, please visit airflowmusic.com and make some kind of a purchase from the Airflow Music store. We'd really appreciate it. I'll see you on the next video. Now, go practice.